everybody, what is going on? This is Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton, and let's get started today. Today is, I believe, this one's going to go up on Friday. Currently I'm doing videos every Wednesday and Friday. As I get my schedule a little bit more on par with everything that I'm doing, then I'm going to probably extend it to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But right now, it's just Wednesday and Friday because everything is real tight between the store and all the other stuff that I do. But welcome. Thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and get the shout out, the promos. Hey, go to Amazon. This book, Plan Your Greatness. This is the original. Again, it's like the first draft. So it has a lot of the stories in it of the updated one. So you're gonna see me like I'm gonna be holding it like the second one is How to Plan Your Greatness. That's the one that's on there right now. Well, actually all of them are there right now, but that one is the most recent one. It still has some grammatical stuff that I'm gonna be editing out and putting the new stuff in, making the corrections, but that's on Amazon as well. Also, this is Fair Exchange, Conversation with an Uber Driver. Another short read, but good, powerful. That one specifically gives a very targeted message. The How to Plan Your Greatness, this right here, this is actually it's gonna tell the story. It's gonna tell my story, baseball, prison, college, business. It's going to go into the details on what was really, it's going to just get you up to speed with what was my mindset through that process and how have I gotten to this point right now. So I'm also working on a couple of other things. I'm on this fitness journey as well. So I'll be digging into that. But what you had been watching since I got back online is I'm going through all the chapters in the book, but I'm taking a break now because these last two videos, what I wanted to talk about, and I got my little notes here. I wanted to talk specifically about a topic it's very popular online, and that is the American dream dead? Or what is the American dream? And of course, you got these sociologists, you got these anthropologists, you got all these people crunching these numbers and saying, well, a family of four can't live at $100,000 or whatever it is. And I look at that and I've just been inundating myself with videos and videos on YouTube just to see what angle people are coming from. And so this is my take on it, because I'm looking at it and I'm looking at myself and I'm saying, wait a minute. I grew up in a working class area, working class family, working class town, city, Chicago Heights, very blue collar, some white collar, but mostly blue collar. That's the place in the neighborhood that I grew up in. And so when I hear people talking about the American dream, from where I've come, okay, now let me add into the equation, I got a chance to play professional baseball. That's a lottery ticket, all right? So I don't use that in the equation when I'm talking about the American dream. When I'm talking about the American dream, what I talk about is after my baseball career, I crashed and burned. I ended up going to prison. So from the time that I got out of prison, or basically the process about halfway through my prison sentence, what was going on in my mind and what I was preparing myself to get into. So from that point of walking out of prison as a black male with no college degree, and I'm walking out with this box in my hand, a copy paper box full of everything that I had in prison, and a storage unit that was about, 6 by 10 or whatever, or 10 by 12. I was about the size of a prison cell. So it was about an 8 by 10 by 12 foot box that had all my belongings, and because I didn't want to lose that stuff. So shout out to my parents who actually took care of paying for that from the time that I was in there. I was in there for 3.5 years. So they paid the stores for 3.5 years. I think that's 3, 6, 12, 41, 42 months. All right. So they graciously paid for that. All right. So now, here I am entering into the world with everything that I believe everybody is most of the people are complaining about. I'm black. I don't have a skill. I'm not saying everybody's doing this, but I don't have a high in demand skill. I don't even have the college degree. I'm barely graduating from high school. So I am now in that space of what people are talking about. The world seems like it's just crashing on you. You're trying to get jobs, people aren't hiring, or you're getting a job and it has crazy hours, or you get the job and it doesn't pay as much. So I want to do a recap of the other video. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch the other video. It'll say The American Dream on it, and it'll have some sort of title, but it's going to be like American Dream, is it still viable, Volume 1. And this is going to be Volume 2. But I'm going to recap what I talked about in that other video, and that is, first and foremost, that there is a formula. I believe there is a formula for the American Dream. It's a modification of the American Dream, because when I was listening to all those videos of all those people complaining about the American Dream, one of the things that I did not see consistently them showing what sort of education. If the person said, I have a college degree, they never showed their education. So I have some questions with that. And then everybody else was in a particular area that would ebb and flow. They were in construction. That could be, you could be working every day, or you could be, out. Because that happened a lot with people. That happened in 2008, and that happened again in 2020. That when they were in a field that got devastated by the market and what was going on. Okay, so when I think of the modified version of the American Dream, this is the recap of it. All right, if you're going to go into education, I've said this to my son, and more specifically, I'm talking to males, because I don't know all the dynamics with females. I don't want to have just trying to a general message, but it will apply. But generally, I'm talking to males. Okay, so I say, if you are going to go right out of high school into college, and you're not going to get one of these degrees, I'm going to show on the screen. If you're not in one of these degree fields, then it's going to be difficult, because the marketplace doesn't demand anything outside of those degrees. So look on the screen. These are the degrees that I say, if you go into these fields, the marketplace has a demand for them. If you're not going to go in that field, then your best bet is to go all the way through college and get your PhD by the time you're 30 years old. A couple of things will happen with that, is that you get to the level of PhD, there's going to be a demand for you to either teach, or if you don't teach, you're going to have enough skill to where you can create your own lane. You can actually become a consultant. You can actually make your whole own YouTube channel. There are guys that have law degrees that have YouTube channels. They ain't practicing law. They're just giving legal advice. There's guys, Bill Nye the Science Guy. I think he has some sort of background in science, and he's just showing all these crazy different experiments. Who knew? Okay, so if you're gonna go the college route, go all the way through, or look at the landscape of what's happening in the marketplace and saying, what is it demanding? It's demanding all of those degrees, those specific degrees. And if not, if you go and get that amount of education, you might as well turn it into a level. You have a level of mastery. You might as well turn it into a YouTube channel or some sort of consulting. All right, number 2, you go through education. You can, one or two choices. If you can decide to go the education route, jump off into the corporate world, or bypass college, jump into the corporate world, because nowadays Google, Facebook, a lot of these tech companies are saying, we don't care if you have the college degree. Have you gotten the certifications, or can you do this job? I think a lot of them have this test, this aptitude test you can take online. And they go, well, hell, shoot, you can do all this stuff. You don't need to go to school. You can do what we need you to do. Boom, they're hiring. So you don't necessarily need to go to school. You could jump off into the marketplace, into the corporate world right away. But again, if you go the education route and you get all that education, you jump off into the corporate route, it's the same. It becomes the same thing. You're going to jump on the corporate ladder and you're going to try to ride it all the way through. Now you have, think of Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Outliers. He said in 5 years, he said 10,000 hours is the level, the amount of hours you need to put in to have a level of mastery. Okay, that's around 5 years, because a full-time job is like 2,080 hours in a year, 40 hours working week. Do the math on that. All right. So Malcolm said, okay, so 5 years of work gives you a level of mastery. Say you go off into the corporate space and you work for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. You have a level of expertise. Now, if you're ascending in that corporation, by all means, stay in that space. Run it up as much as you can. But also be thinking in your mind, hey, I have a level of mastery. Maybe I create a YouTube channel and start talking about the things that I have a level of mastery on. You can do some consulting. You can create your own level, your own line of, consulting, or you just, building revenue off the channel. There's technology is allowing us to do a whole bunch of things. But again, you can jump into the corporate space, either follow that through, or you follow it through to enough to where you have a level of mastery. Then you go out on your own. All right. The last one is the trades. Now, I always think of it this way. Name me a city that does not need an air-conditioned guy to fix them, an electrical engineer, an electrician to set up the wiring, fix the wiring, a welder, a plumber, a carpenter. All those things are needed to build cities. Plumbing, and people would look at that. Well, they don't make that much. Or what? I said, okay, let's look at it this way. If your power goes off, how much are you willing to pay to get your power back on? Yeah. If your plumbing is backed up, how much are you willing to pay to get that plumbing going again? You see what I'm saying? If your car does not start, that's the other area, is repair and machinery, heavy crane operators and all the other stuff. Getting that sort of certification or getting that sort of training so you can do that. Again, if your car isn't working and you need that car to get you back and forth, or that car is a part of a business that you have, how much are you willing to pay to get yourself up and running? Computers. If your computer goes out, at my store, I panic when our phone line and our computers and all this stuff and the terminals that take payments, they're all locked in. I have a backup because I want to make sure I'm getting your money. So if something were to happen on the system, I have a backup on a backup Square, because you've all seen that. You tap the Square, you put your card in. I even have it on my phone. If that doesn't work, I say, oh, I got it right here. Come here, get it on the phone, boom, and I'm getting your money. So the people that are troubleshooting, that I'm calling, that repairing that stuff, they will always have a job. So all the trades, again, the trades and all those things, you will always have a job. All right, so that's the recap. That's what I covered before. I said, hey, look, you need to make an assessment of where you are and what you're doing, and stop getting online and wasting all this time belly aching about you're saying that the American dream, you can't live off this. I go, they never say that they're sitting in their cars or they're sitting in their rooms, and they never say what their skill set is. They just get online and start complaining that they say there are no opportunities, there's no jobs. And I'm about to get in the DMs and go, what's your degree in? What's your skill set? And to the next level, when I got out of prison, here I am right now, I'm a college graduate. Do I use my degree? Yes and no. I own 4 different businesses. I created all those businesses after I got out of prison. Now, if you want to ask me about that, if you want to, and I'll get to that a little bit later on. You can hit me in the DMs as far as I do some consulting, but it's not for free. I'm not gonna charge you an arm and a leg, but I mean, just if you want some of my time, you want some of my expertise, reach out to me. All right. So, but again, trades, the mastery of the trades. You can either become very well in your industry and get compensated in that way, or you can take that skill set, put it online, put it on Craigslist, you can put it on whatever, you can build yourself a website, you can say, these are the skills that I've learned, I am now a hired gun, even though you're working for someone else. There's a million ways, like I said, million ways to skin a cat. All right, so there is a guy that I follow online, his name is Dan Coe. I'm gonna probably put a link, or at least I'm gonna put a picture up there and show who he is. But more specifically, he said something that had resonated with me. He said, solve your problems, like literally solve your own problems. This goes back to when, as I was listening to all these complaints, and I tell my kids, complaints only state the obvious. All these complaints that I'm seeing online, I go, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. You should be trying to search for solutions. And this is what Daniel Coe said. He said, solve your problems, solve your own problems. Then you could turn around and sell the solutions. He says, solve your problems, sell the solutions. If you're online complaining about how you think the American dream is dead, I go, you're wasting your time. That means you're not telling us really what your problem is. You're complaining about, you're actually, to me, you're trying to absolve yourself of responsibility of saying that my life sucks and it's in this particular position because of the American dream took me here. I said, no, you're old enough. You took yourself here. And if you took yourself here, you can say, what are my problems? How can I solve them? And like Daniel Coe said, once you solve them, you can then turn around and you can sell that solution. Because if you're bitching and moaning and complaining online, guaranteed there are a bunch of other people that are complaining too. So if you take the time to solve that problem, I guarantee it's a problem that other people have, and then you could turn around and sell them the solution. Here you are, you're saying, whoo, man, I finally figured out what this is. Hey, let me share with you guys, and if you want to go in depth, you can charge a consulting fee. All right? So, with that said, my mentor, Dr. G, shout out to Dr. G, he said this in a conversation. He said, what you want wants you. Now, let that sink in for a little bit. What I want wants me. Now, I'm throwing this back on all the individuals that are out there complaining about the American dream. If you're online, instead of looking at the situation and going, let me solve this problem, then I could sell that solution, or just simply, let me solve this problem, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. But if you solve that problem, and in your mind, you're thinking, I'm solving this problem, I'm going to solve it, and then I'm going to sell the solution. You don't have time to get on here and bitch and moan and complain about what you think is the reasons why you believe you're not getting what you want. You see what I'm saying? And now, if what you want wants you, that means you're going to be able to, I don't want to get on this high level of talking and anything, but what I'm saying is you have an energy, you have a frequency, you have a vibration, you have an intensity, like an intention, you have a desire, and those things get results. But if you're online constantly talking about what you believe this system has done to you, what believe opportunities have been removed from you, there's people out there talking about they've gotten fired, and I'm going, if you get into a company and you wedge yourself in there and you make yourself irreplaceable, you're not online complaining. Because I would almost guarantee that if you're on here complaining about you've gotten fired, you feel the American dream isn't any good, it's way what's the word I'm looking for? It's not proportional to what people are making. And then I would say, okay, let's talk turkey here. What's your skill set? What's your education level? Now, okay, I got my bachelor's degree. What did you get your bachelor's degree in? Is it a trade? Because the trade people ain't on here complaining. Now, Again, we could talk about, how the construction industry ebbs and flows, those different things. But the people that have very highly specialized degrees, architecture, engineering, the mathematics, economics, accounting, those things are in very high demand for companies that need those individuals. The trades, here you are on one end, you're in the office, the accounting, the mathematical dudes, the economists, the engineers, they're in the offices. The dudes that are outside doing the stuff, the welders, the carpenters, the electricians, the plumbers, the AC dudes, they're all working together. The engineers and all the people, they're telling these other guys what to do, and they're getting the work done. Those are the people that ain't online complaining and bitching and moaning about them not having a job. It's you have to take a self-assessment and say, do I have a skill set that is in demand in the marketplace? You got to be honest with yourself. Hit me in the comments. Come right at me, because I'm gonna ask you, what skill set do you have? And then if you tell me, oh, I have this particular skill set, I said, how then are you not marketing it correctly? And I said, don't try to bullshit me. Be honest with yourself. Are you actually really marketing that high level? If you have an engineering degree, industrial engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, you ain't hurting for no job. You're not hurting for a job. But if you get out here and tell me, oh, I don't have a job, then now we're going to get into the point of maybe you need to move. Oh, I don't want to leave New York because my family's here. I said, well, then you would rather bitch and moan and complain about not having an opportunity instead of moving to where that is in demand. The last thing I'll mention, because I mentioned this, I believe I mentioned this before. I'm going to mention this again. When slavery ended, the black slaves took off. You know where they went? They went out west, they went up north, they went a little bit back east, they went, you know what I'm saying? They went any place but the south, because they was like, even if there is any opportunity, I don't want any. So they went to where the opportunities were. They scattered all over the place. And those counties they were some of the wealthiest counties in the world. Now they end up being some of the poorest. And there's still probably 4th, 5th generation people that are still in these areas that have not moved. So that's the same thing what's happening to you. If you're on here complaining that you believe the American dream is not working for you, then you need to maybe consider moving or going back to school, getting a very specific education that's in demand. Don't just say, hey, I'm just going to go back to school and get a master's degree in this bullshit area that I'm in. If you're going to do that, you better go and get yourself your doctorate degree, or parlay what is out here right now, and that is social media. Take your expertise, because this is eventually what I'm doing. I have a very particular experience in life. I played professional baseball. I went to prison. I got out of prison and I went back to college, and I now have created businesses. So I could talk turkey on a whole bunch of different levels. So my channel is going to be talking specifically about the books that I've written, how the experience, my fitness journey. I'm going to use all my experiences to create another stream of income. I'm not waiting for somebody to give me something. I am trying to get out there and get it. And as I'm doing that, I'm absolutely planning my greatness. All right? Thank you guys for all joining me. I'm going to leave you with what I leave you with every time that I'm on here, and that is plan your greatness. You know why? Because no one else will. I'll see you all next time.